Hello and welcome to another episode of the Roach Koach Podcast, the journey to create the new metal canon. My name is Lorin Kozlowski. With me, as always, the original Roach Rider, Mr. Matt Nas.
Keep it rolling, baby.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen, back for another episode of Roach Koach, creating this new metal canon one album at a time. This week's episode is a big one, you guys. It's
Huge.
big for a number of reasons. First, Matt, I don't know if you noticed, but outside, it's warm.
Oh, baby.
It's warming up.
Because
we're getting close to summer, which means it's time to talk about side projects, baby.
Give me some on the side.
That's right. It's a side project summer, everybody. So we are going to be talking about the side projects of one Chino Moreno this summer. We're talking about a bunch of his side projects. If you're wondering, how did we make this decision? We put it up to our Patreon.
That's right.
Patreon subscribers, patreon.com/Roach Koach Podcast. They got to vote and they said, we want to hear all about Chino's side work. So that's what we're going to be talking about this summer. To kick it off, we're going to be talking about Crosses by Crosses.
Ooh, baby.
Diving all into this record. That's one reason that this is a hot app. The second reason, Matt, is that almost to the day, this episode celebrates 8 years of the coach.
We did it.
We did it, baby. 8 years ago, we put up an app. We said, this will be a fun thing to put up. Me, you, and Jenny.
Just a giggle.
Just a giggle. Just with, just a couple people, just 3 people with some opinions about Korn's first album. Little did we know that 8 years later, everything that we said on that episode that we probably didn't put that much thought into would haunt us for the rest of our lives.
That's correct.
And you know what? I'm fine with that. I'm happy about it. I love it.
I like it.
I love it. And now here we are today, 8 years later. We're talking about a Chino side project. We're thrilled to be doing it. And then also, the third reason this episode is very special is that, Matt, you and I have decided for the first time to dive into an album, just the duo, just you and me, buddy.
You and me chopping it up.
Chopping it up. You know what? When I turn on a podcast, if I don't hear one of the hosts say, we're going to chop it up this up, I'm like, off. Get out of here. What are you doing with the mics? These mics are for chopping, straight up. All right?
These mics are made for chopping.
Made for chopping it up. Absolutely. I am
Happy 8 years, Lorin.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt. Happy 8 years.
Unbelievable. It really is unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
I truly thought, well, there can't be that many new metal albums. And it turns out there's not. But there's a lot that need clarification.
There are a lot. We are at a point, yeah, Matt, that we do listen to a lot of records now, and it's like, is this even like, yeah, we're like 60 minutes in, 80 minutes into the app. I'm like, is this even new metal? Is this just actually butt?
You know what though? The other day, I'll talk about our good friends Body Snatcher. They were on something, and I just go to the comments, and the category fight reigns large. And nearly every metal band that I watch is like, you want to see all out war? Go into any band, go into the comments and just put, I think this is the best representation of metalcore. Good night. I'll see you in the morgue because you about to get murked.
That guy needs to throw his phone away. He can't come back. You can't come back. I think this is a pretty solid representation of metalcore. I don't even know what he's talking about, and I know he's doomed. He's toast. He's done. Why did he do that?
Don't do it. Don't do it. But I am going to clip this, and my comment will be, I think this is a great example of metalcore.
Yeah, Matt, I had a conversation recently at work with a coworker, and I was telling him a little bit about the show, and he was like, I didn't even know there were that many genres. And I was like, yeah. And I was like telling him just kind of like general, this is what, and he goes, well, what's Buck Cherry? And I said, oh, they're butt.
They're butt rock.
And he goes, butt rock? That's a genre? And I said, sure is. And he goes, what makes it butt? And I said, oh,
so funny.
Well, if you're listening to it and you think you can see the crack, that's how you know it's butt rock. And he did not know what I was talking about. And then I had to really kind of think like, what is the essence of butt rock?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get into it now because that's not what this episode is about. But it really did make me think, man, I gotta work on my definitions a little bit better, because once you get out with the normal people
I
and
know.
you say this is some butt rock shit, and they're like, what does that mean? What do you mean seeing the
Oh,
crack?
I
What?
said butt rock and dad rock to Catherine, and she was like, "What does that mean?" And I'm like, well, I'm like, have you ever heard Buck Cherry? But dad rock is also kind of like the one size fits all hat that they put on rock music that just isn't from this generation.
See, I take dad rock at this point to be anything that's like a mid-tempo indie. Like everything that was hot in almost everything that was hot indie in the 2000s is now dad rock. The National, War on
Ooh,
Drugs, Wilco, Spoon, sadly, who I love.
yeah.
Those bands are all dad rock.
And of course, to
Yeah,
me, dad rock will always be like Billy Joel. Like
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
it
Mhm,
is a generational thing
yeah.
because it is truly the rock and roll that your dad listens
Mhm.
to.
Right, yeah. So, yeah, Matt. So yeah, so 8 years in the can. Let's do a couple. Let's do 8 more. Let's
Oh,
say.
let's do that.
Mhm.
Also, I want to congratulate you
Oh,
and
thank you,
and the byproduct of
It-
that, me,
Matt. I want to congratulate you. Yes, with what you're about to say.
because I heard a stat that is unsubstantiated, but I'm going to go with it.
Okay.
That in all of podcasts, all the podcasts that exist,
Yes.
when you cross 21 episodes, you were in the top 1% of all podcasts. Now, this sounds like horse feathers to me, but I'll go with it. So, this is what, episode 400 or something for us?
Matt, this is episode, because I knew you were going to ask this. So I'm scrolling quickly. This is episode 416.
Top 1% of all podcasters.
Listen, Matt, we are out here.
Patreon.com/Roach Koach Podcast.
We are out here in these trenches every week. We are doing that new metal work. All right. We do it. And listen, I listen to a lot of shows. Some of them last, some of them don't. Some of them take long breaks. Some of them say, we're going to take a break. And you never
And
hear
never
from
come
them
back.
again.
I have a
Exactly.
couple of those shows.
Yep. But us, we cannot be stopped. Anytime. It's like you said, Matt, maybe we've run out of new metal albums. Well, it's Side Project Summer, baby, and we're talking about Chino. Let's do it. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. We are talking about the album Crosses by the band Crosses, which was released on February 11th, 2014.
Wowie zowie.
And I'm going to start it right off. This is a collaboration with one Chino Moreno of Deftones, Sean Lopez, and Chuck Doom. That's who's Crosses on this first album. And Crosses started, Matt, as it was cloaked in secrecy. What's going on? What are they doing? What's with the Crosses? They released 2 EPs, one called EP1, one called EP2. They really dug deep for those titles.
Yeah.
And people are like, we're loving what you're doing. We're loving it. And they're like, EP3, it's coming. And then somebody sat them down and said, do you want Crosses to be taken seriously? Or do you
Hey,
want people to ignore this shit?
hey,
Put an album
stop.
out.
Stop it. Stop with the EPs. You've done your proof of concept.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you do a record?
Why don't you give us a long player? All right. That E,
LP.
an LP. Get that E out of here.
Out of here. We don't
put
need
that
no
L.
EPs.
That's right. This is the one time that you need an L, right? Put it in there. So they scrap EP3. They take the stuff from EP1 and EP2. They mix it all together. They resequence it. They put out this album. Their name is Stylized Crosses.
Yep.
And initially, they were seen as a witch house group. Matt, what's your relationship with witch house?
Zero. I have no relationship with Witch House.
All right. So according to Wikipedia, witch house is a microgenre of electronic music that is musically characterized by high-pitched keyboard effects, heavily layered bass lines, and trap-style drum loops, while it aesthetically employs occult and gothic-inspired themes. Famously, Salem is who the band that most people associate witch house with.
I have heard Salem.
And anyone who knows anything about the internet in the late 2000s knows about Salem at the Vader Fort. If you don't know what I'm talking about, do a little Googling. You'll find everything you need to know and more. So Witch House for me was always one of those things that I was like, is this good? Because I do enjoy house and I enjoy all the things that were described there. I don't give it much of a shit about the occult. I'm sorry to be. Listen, I know there's a lot of people who love
You have
the
a
occult.
strong no ghosts.
I'm strong, no ghosts. So the occult is like, what are we doing here? I don't give a shit about this. But I'm okay with vampires. I'm okay with Frankensteins. I'm good with zombies. But when you start employing the ghosts,
But I'm good with zombies. Like,
yeah.
I don't need more zombie stuff.
Here's the thing with zombies, though, Matt. You say I'm zombied out, and then somebody drops like a banger zombie movie on you. It's constantly being, reinvoked. You know what I'm not so into though? Possession movies.
Ooh, not a fan.
Listen,
I think they one and done it with The Exorcist, right? Like
The Exorcist is so good, and then everything else is just sort of like, sure, I guess. I mean,
but
why
I just
not?
don't know how to top it. It is so. It's an all-timer.
It's an all-timer.
Here's a quick question for you about the zombie thing.
Sure.
The Last of Us. Where's your opinion on that? Because it's kind of a different take on a zombie movie.
Matt, this is gonna sound so bad,
I
but
love that you haven't seen it.
I don't play video games. I did not watch the show. I did see some of the buzz about the show, which made it sound like a show, but I did not watch it, and thus I have no opinion. I'm
You
sorry.
know what? I'm glad that you didn't wager one without seeing it.
Listen, there's some stuff you have so much time in your life, and I spend a
True.
lot of it doing research for the show and editing the show. And
Mhm.
so when I have my own free time, I'm like, I've got to be very careful with it. And that is why the last TV show that I watched was the terrible recent season of True Detective, which I believe has already been discussed on this show. I haven't
Yes.
watched anything since then. I don't think. Nothing I can remember. Maybe I did watch
You know what
something
I've been
else.
doing?
What have you been doing?
Just rewatching Mad Max Fury Road clips.
That's
That's all
the way
I'm
to
doing
be.
right now.
That's the way to
how
be,
I'm
man.
living.
That's the way to be. I'm going to see Furiosa tomorrow. So there you go. You can timestamp when we recorded this based on that info. But yeah, so this album was that was the thing. Oh, Chino's going on a side project journey, and he's going to make a Witch House record. Now, if you go to the Wikipedia, you find that that's not so much because this record's genre tags are wild. Electronic rock, dream pop, electronica, dark wave, witch house. Then, if you go into the body of the Wikipedia page, it also says new gaze, ambient, dark ambient, gothic rock, trip hop. So many
Everything
genres.
but the kitchen sink. And like, oh, okay, so it's dark and synthy. Perfect.
Exactly.
We have 700 genre tags we could put on this.
You look at all this and you just imagine Martin Gore looking at this going, sounds fun, kids. Like, okay, all right. We get it.
And he wistfully sings, I want somebody.
Yes, absolutely. So this record, it came out on Sumerian Records, a record label we talked
Great
about.
label. Great label.
Great label. It got in the critical reception part of the Wikipedia, it says that it received positive reviews from music critics. That means that it was fitfully received, I would say. All Music said that it is a solid effort that stands on its own merit rather than simply cruising on the cultural cachet of its members.
We'll see about that.
We'll see about that. Okay. The Boston Globe said the music has a cinematic feel and ominous tone as if the band is scoring a yet-to-be-made David Fincher film. Mike Diver over at Clash said, as while there's ingredients enough here to have the listener expecting something savagely tearing at the envelope of experimentalism, Crosses proves to be a most accessible collection, perhaps the most pop record Marino has released to date. He further added the album meets its pre-release hype head on and comes away the winner.
Okay,
Now,
that's pretty favorable.
pretty favorable. Now you have a dissension. Pitchfork gave it a 5.0 out of 10.
Classic
And
Pitchfork.
they got Ian Cohen, Pitchfork Hall of Famer, to review it. And he said, while Crosses may be on the same scale as Deftones, they're not a replacement, and it stands to reason that Marino can ascend to the heights of their previous work. But on Crosses, it's like he never had wings.
Ooh.
That's a got him.
Yeah.
That's a got him. Now, digging up, as I said, you got three guys on here: Chino, Sean Lopez, Chuck Doom. Since then, they've released another EP called Permanent Radiant and another album in 2023 called Good Night, God Bless, I Love You, Delete. On that last record, there is no Chuck Doom. And I said, what happened to Chuck Doom? Why isn't he in Crosses anymore? And I found an interesting bit of quotes that basically Chuck Doom hates Sean Lopez. And so what happened was that Chino was having to work in between Sean Lopez and Chuck Doom and trying to make it work and hating the experience. And ultimately, he had to pick somebody to side with, so he picked Sean. And now basically his friendship with Chuck Doom is done. And when I read through it, it sounds like one of those things that's just like Chuck Doom's like, we got to do it this way. And Sean's like, no, absolutely not. Your name is awesome. Your name is Chuck Doom, and I feel like I should defer to you, but I refuse to. I'm not going to do it. And ultimately, Chino, you knew Chino had final call on this.
Totally.
You know, they both sat down, had those hard phone calls, and Chino's like, listen, Chuck Doom, you got a top tier name. Chuck Doom, awesome.
All-timer name.
Great name. Honestly, could you imagine you're in recruiting, you get all these resumes coming across your desk, you know, Brian McTowski, you know, Carol Lambert. Oh, great. Okay. Then Chuck Doom slides across your desk. Doesn't matter if that thing was written in crayon. You'd be like, I got to get this guy in the room.
I got to at least talk to. All right. That's it. We're both changing our last names to Doom. I'm now Matt Doom and you're Lorin Doom.
All right. We're the Doom Boys.
The Doom Brothers.
The Doom Brothers. Production on this album handled by Sean Lopez and Crosses as a whole. And we do have some additional musicians. Someone named Molly Carson contributes a phone call in the song Frontiers. Chris Robin does live drums. And Matt, additional bass on the song This Is a Trick from one, Duff McKagan.
Hell yeah.
I hope that Duff rolled in and said, before I record this, I got to take my shirt off.
Yeah.
I just got to get in there. Got to get in there before I do that.
Excuse me. Duff's got a duff.
Duff's got a duff. Who do you think's
got a duff in the buff?
Matt, could you imagine if Duff McKagan and Logan Mader rocked into the room at the same time?
No.
I can't. I don't
How
think.
Is there not enough room for both of them without their shirts on?
I just. I can't. Yeah, my mind can't process that. That's too much. I introduced it, and my mind's like, "You're not built for that.
No.
You
ain't built for this.
You ain't built for this.
You're not about that life, Laura.
I'm not. I'm truly not. I'm not." This record peaked at 26 on the US Billboard 200 and number 43 on the Australian albums chart. It does not give me any other sales information. There are 2 music videos made for this album, and we will get into those. Matt, any other thoughts on Crosses? I know that you have.
The last album I enjoyed and listened to. This album actually I have not listened to, and I'm excited to get into it and talk it through.
Perfect. Then I think let's dive into it. The first song is called "This Is a Trick."
Thanks for watching this episode of Roach Koach on YouTube. Unfortunately, we do not play the music here on YouTube because we want to avoid those sweet, sweet copyright strikes. But you can check out in the description. We have the links to the podcast itself, which includes all the clips from the music that we hear. And back to the show.
We'll start with you. How are you feeling about This Is a Trick?
Yeah, I am enjoying it. I feel like this definitely is in my wheelhouse of things that I like. I like dark synth. I like sawtooth waves coming towards my ear. I like Chino's voice on this. It's really, how can I say this? Like, this gave me hardcore Depeche Mode vibes, and I'm here for it. I think his voice is way different than Dave Gahan's, but spiritually connected in this form of music. And yeah, I like it. I like the production. I like what they're doing. It doesn't sound full. It sounds a little thin, but that also might just be because of how we're playing it back.
Matt, you're not wrong. It is a bit thinner in sound. I believe that is an intentional call. Now, everything on here is, like I said, from EP1, EP2, or the not released EP3 folded into one. And largely these are the original mixes, but they did remaster everything when they put it on the record. Now, Matt, I don't want to blow your mind here, but Chino is going to be very, very horny on this album.
I did get that. And
gonna
that's why I went Depeche Mode over almost anything else, because Dave Gahan is also a shirtless spinner. If I talk about Duff.
Right. Absolutely.
Dave Gahan's been known to be shirtless, grabbing a mic and spinning around.
I mean, and Martin Gore, he gets in on that action too, you know? He'll be like, give me this shirt. And they'll be like, I don't know if this is a shirt. This appears to be just a collection of small little chains. And he's like, it's my shirt. I'm going to put it on right now.
Yeah.
Going on stage. I'm going to play Policy of Truth. You get out of my fucking way. All right.
Don't do that move. And our other favorite German boys, Rammstein, like this move of just like pants, no shirt, suspenders. Like, ooh, bad look. But hey, do what you gotta.
Do what you gotta. Listen, there are some people that can get away with it. It's not us. If you or I attempted a no shirt, suspenders move, we would be told you need to go to jail.
Yeah,
they would send us to jail. They'd be like,
I would get at least put a t-shirt on, fat boy. Like,
it'd be tough.
That's what I would be expecting.
It'd be tough. But in this case, yeah, we have Chino, and I'm just gonna read these lyrics to you. Something's changed in your face, I noticed. A different sparkle in those crazy eyes. Your unmistakable charade, I know it, always tricks me every time. Then he says, I've seen that glaze and glitch in your eyes. And then he says, this is a trick. Hello, hello. I know what this really is. I know. He knows that it's trouble. He knows that he shouldn't, but he can't help it because he's horned to the max, because that's what's going on here in Crosses. Now, and he also says the line, I'm so excited I can hardly take it. On the first song, he's like, I'm so excited. I can hardly take it. These pants are not going to last. I'm like, Chino, we got a lot of songs, buddy. Track one? Wait, keep it together.
Throughout this album, are we going to have nut talk where we talk about how close Chino is to bussing it?
Listen, this might be Chino's edging album. I don't know. Okay. He's taken to the limit. All right.
To the limit.
Yep. So I had to go because I knew when I'm looking at this, I'm like, these lyrics are intense. There are some people that I trust implicitly who can take me through these lyrics, and they're over at Songmeanings.com. Songmeanings.com, Matt. Oh my Lord. Not a lot of comments, but the people that showed up were fucking nuts.
Did the work.
Oh, they did. They did the work, or they need to have work done on them. I'll start off with this.
They're listening to Crosses. They're doing their best.
That's right. Berna Fav on August 31st, 2011 said, I think it's about someone who's changed into, quote, this awful creature that no one likes. He knows it's not who they really are. This is a trick. I know what this really is. But he still gets sucked in by the unmistakable charade. I know it always tricks me every time. So this person's take is, this isn't who you really are, but right now, you're so horny, you're a monster. Sure. Then we have Hats Off to the Bull.
Who put that hole in the wall? Horny werewolf.
Horny werewolf. Absolutely. Ow, snap.
Ah!
Hats Off to the Bull labeled their comment my interpretation.
Oh, that's good.
And they started with, when I saw this word, Matt, I knew that we were in for it. They said, he's foolishly given into temptation one too many times for some girl, but he knows not to fall for her allure because behind that pretty face is a manipulating bitch. Smiley face emoji. And I was like, I'm going to keep an eye on this screen name because this person is nuts.
And also, this person's going to come back for sure.
Oh, 100%. So to kick these off, I was like, and I want to say, Matt, I did my 3 listens on this.
Awesome.
I gave this a dinner listen, I gave this a
Ooh,
car listen, and then I
like
gave
that.
it a headphone listen.
I
This
have to
is
say that if I was to do a listen,
Mhm.
post this, I feel like the headphone listen is the way to go.
Matt, here's the thing. As I found, I mean, we kind of get ahead of it, but as we get into this, I have found that the dinner listen was the most rewarding because
Interesting.
when I had to sit with these lyrics, I mean, we're going to get into it, but I would say that there is there's a lot of music out in the world about sex and lust and attraction
Absolutely.
and being horny and all this stuff. But this does feel a little bit at times like Chino did the Babe Ruth point. Like, I can do it.
I'm
I can give you
calling my shot,
I'm calling my shots. I'm gonna
and
give you
it's your G spot.
exactly. I'm gonna give you a whole album, that is like horny on the main to the max. And he got, I don't know,
Gonna
halfway
give you
through.
a whole album of taint rubbers.
Absolutely. And he got like halfway through and he was like, I don't know if I have enough gas in the tank. And Chuck Doom said, get behind that mic. Sing about fucking dreams. I don't care, buddy. We got an album to make. We got to pad this out. And padding we will. But we're not there yet.
Not there yet.
No, the next song, and I want to stress, if you look online, if you look at the stylization, any of the T's are crosses.
Love it.
Just imagine that. Okay. So the next song is called Telepathy. So you get a little guitar in the mix here. The Depeche Mode vibes are very strong.
Top tier Depeche Mode vibes.
Big Depeche Mode vibes. And this is a song where it was one of the first times where I was like, this chorus better fucking hit. And when it does, it's like the sky opens up and you're like, oh, okay. Chino's got the pop goods. He can do it. Absolutely. But then in the back of my head, though, I'm thinking once again, I'm like, is this the best use of his time, though? I still wonder because it does feel still kind of slight. And you're thinking of Depeche Mode. I was thinking a little bit of Cut Copy, who, I mean, in themselves are almost like a Depeche Mode tribute band, but they made a classic within Ghost Colors, which they can ghost on forever. And so I'm listening to this and I'm just like, this is solid, but I don't know if it ever, I'm on track 2. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but I'm just like, I don't know if this is quite congealing, but I do love this chorus. And like I said, when I was eating dinner to this album and this song, I was just like, oh, this chorus hits. Oh, yeah.
Money in the bank.
Money in the bank. Forget about it. How you feel about Telepathy, Matt?
Well, I would say that if, first listen, you get to the second track, I'm like, okay, I think I've got a winner on my hands. But I also get a feeling of like, how many tracks are on this thing? And then I see there's 15 and I start to go, uh-oh. There's something else that's happening as well. Chino's voice working perfectly. The bass working, the guitar working, the mood getting set. But there's something in the back of my head that starts to go, "This is a little campy. This a little 1980s montage in a horror film campy?
Mhm.
Little little bit, little
Well, it's
bit."
it's the thing where you think about you're like, where is Deftones playing? Deftones is gonna play at Red Rocks. Deftones is gonna play at the Deftones Festival. They're gonna play at Sick New World. They're gonna play where you
Mm,
can't see the back. And then you listen to this and you're like, this is gonna play goth prom. Like an actual goth prom.
yep.
That's who's yeah. Like if you watched a movie and they were like, "We're going to goth prom," and then it smash cuts to crosses playing this song at goth prom, you'd be like, "I believe this is the venue they would play." It makes
You know
sense to me.
that scene in Lost Boys where they're filling up the tub with water to bless it to make it holy water and sharpening stakes? If this was playing during that, I wouldn't be surprised either.
Absolutely. And so when you hear that, it can't help but feel a little slight to me. It can't. But the chorus is rock solid,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
appreciate that.
I
Um,
love the
mm,
style.
mhm,
I love the style. I
yeah,
I
mhm,
I will take all of this that you give me,
right.
but it's an interesting side project.
Mhm. It definitely I appreciate, and I will say right off the bat, this already is way more substantial than any of the Team Sleep stuff, which
Mm.
always, like, truly, if you're to talk about, like, music as sketch as sketches, that's what I think of with Team Sleep, but these feel like fully formed songs.
This is
Yeah.
whole cloth. Yeah.
Yeah. Whether or not the songs are always cohesive front to back, I mean, well, like I said, we've still got 13 to go. With the lyrics, come play my game, I'll let you win. And I wasn't gonna play it tonight, but I can't help it. The feeling's alive. As long as you play my game, I'll let you win. As long as you play my game, I'm with you again. Okay. I see what you're doing here, Chino.
Mm.
Let me go to Songmeanings.com, where
Oh,
resident maniac Hats Off to the Bull is back. They said he's a snake in the grass, taking advantage of somebody who acts like they know it all. He senses their fear and vulnerability, so he manipulates them in order to reap the benefits, if that makes sense. Oh,
oh,
we
I'm pretty dumb. But yeah, I get it.
I get it. I get it. Hats off to the bull.
Nothing gets by this guy.
Nothing. Then we have this comment from I guess they're called the FPVG, whatever that means. May 17th, 2017. He's a master talking to a prisoner. As long as you play my game, I will let you win. That's what a master does. He makes the slave think they have a freedom, but it's really just them pulling the strings. Okay. So I think this person's getting a lit.
Sub-dom relationship.
Some relationship, I think, might be going on here. And then this comment, Matt, this comment was downvoted. This next comment, downvoted by the people of Songmeanings.com. To which I want to preface and say, how dare you? How
Oh,
dare you? Okay.
how
This is why
dare you?
I'm going to read you a comment and you're going to know why I'm saying how dare you. Okay. This comment is from Throw Your Heart Away, except half the vowels are gone.
Of
It
course.
was posted on October 10th. Oh, I'm sorry, October 1st, 2012. And they said, what a great song to fuck to. You downvoted that? You downvoted that. You downvoted a fact because that's why Chino made this. Okay? That's why he made this. He's like, I'm gonna make a thing called crosses. All the artwork's gonna be super dark. I'm gonna be wearing glasses in all the videos. I'm gonna talk about we're gonna play a game.
Lauren, we don't fuck to this song. We play our twisted little games
No,
to this song.
no. You're right.
Downvote.
You're right, Matt. You're right. You can't fuck to this song because you're too busy
Too busy
manipulating.
playing your twisted little game.
Oh, give a little, take a little, give a little, take a little.
You can
Where's the
play
lock?
that game and I guarantee you're gonna win.
Mm-mm-mm. Yeah.
Mhm.
And meanwhile, this person's like, can we just fuck to this song? And they're like, no, we're playing a
No,
game.
we're playing a game, said the fox to the sheep. Oh, okay.
We're playing a game. Did you guys hook up last night? No, this person just wanted to play games all fucking night.
Oh
Yeah.
my god. Oh my god. This lady was a lot.
So that's where we're at. And now we're on to the next song, which does have a music video, which I'm excited to talk about. It is called Bitches Brew.
If this turns out to be Miles Davis, I'm gonna lose my mind. Steal for the best. Just steal from the best.
Matt, not only are we stealing, though, we're doing something else that Chino loves to do, and that is we are changing. We are under a moon. We are changing into wolves. We have ghosts around. We are becoming one with the spirit world.
This indeed is Halloween.
It is Halloween, but also this lyric: from the flames of the fire, I feel you crawl into my bed, throwing shapes at the sky. I watch you climb into me. And what I love about this visual, Matt, that he's created with his words here, is that you can take it on the one hand as being like, oh man, there you are in bed, and then this visage of lust and other whatever is crawling into bed with you. Oh, ooh, who's this? You know?
Mm-hmm.
But then also at the same time, I think about the reality, which is, sometimes somebody crawls into bed with you and you're just like, your hands are fucking cold. You gotta get off me. And then I'm thinking about, he's talking about wolves. He's talking about ghosts. These are not famously warm things. If a ghost crawls into bed with you, it's probably going to be cold. It's probably going to be chilly.
Oh, well, I mean, there's all those shivers going up and down your
spine. Exactly. And then a wolf, it's got that cold nose. It's gonna go right into the small of your back, and you're gonna go, oh no. Ooh, I don't like that. But Chino is so good here. He's creating this thing that the idea of some weird shape crawling into bed with you, you're like, sounds great. Sounds perfect. When in reality, you'd be like, you're crowding me. You're crushing me. I need to go to sleep. I gotta get up in the morning. But not here. Not here. Chino has taken that, pitched it away, and created this netherworld of I wrote in my notes, sensual Chino at a level we've never seen before.
This is top tier sensual Chino. I have to agree.
This is basically, if you've always thought, wow, Chino on a Deftones record, what's he at? Like, what's his level on a scale of 1 to 10? And I think a lot of people probably thought, well, he's always been at a 10.
Yeah.
Until I heard this album. Now I'm thinking
like 5, 6.
I'm thinking he's like peaking out at a 7. I think every now and again he'll go to a 10, but it's sparingly. It's not an across the board situation. And on this album, it's like he walked into the studio and he was like, we're going to 11 on the sensual Chino scale. We'll just crank it all the way to the top. We just and then at any point, maybe Sean or Chuck Doom was like, do we want to bring it down a little bit? And he's like, no, absolutely not. This is me.
I just rubbed one out to Halo by Depeche Mode in the bathroom. So I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go. Depeche Mode album, Exciter. Me too.
Me too. I'm the Violator.
Absolutely. You got it, Matt. Songmeanings.com.
I cannot wait.
We have
horned up weirdos.
We've got one giant monster comment from HeelToeHole, who titled it Song Comparison. And I just want to get ahead of this and say, not a lot of this makes sense.
All right.
Don't think I have an audience yet, but I'll try to post a comment. Only once, hopefully. Censorship non-rights hack my iPod. There was a girl from my dreams from the long before past, so beautiful that it seemed I couldn't even escape. Note the wolves come out to see the end. She was the conditions of the shapeshifter from Texas Massacre, if you had my version. But to me, she was already dead. Note ghost. As the moon ascends, the wolves come out to see the end. They hide from view and wait. To watch the ghost inside, you come awake. Go away. And as the shots go off, Show begins, you hear them call. Shots go off, you hear them dogs. Call my heart is racing just to see it, you dog. To watch you crawl out your changing shape, shapeshifter trait. Take all of your breath and feel you come awake, go away. It's a play on words. Take a breath away. In love, come awake. Also, you can take the line literally death, kill, go away. Then we start getting into bullet points. I know you're thinking, Lorin, this doesn't make any sense. Welcome. Enemies of both the girl, victim, and shapeshifter. From the flames or in fire, I feel you crawl into my bed. Veins. Above the flames or in the hell itself, I feel you crawl into my dream/feeling, i.e., drugs or those likes. Throwing shades at the sky, throwing darkness or emptiness at the height of the sky. The good in him, whether a loss of acceptance or action of hate, I watch you crying, me crying to late. This is where it's a reference to abuse and or drug abuse, how emotions feel, depending. With your knees all bent, hurt or transforming and or praying, or open, on display, you taunt the beast again, or I'll display you taunt the beast again. Because when you move and shake, that thing inside you, soul, comes awake, goes away. As you dance, acid dance against the breathing walls, my claws are right, our hate, our height, arrive. Oh, won't you feel it all? I won't feel it all. Feel it. To obtain good feeling within, crawl inside you, changing shape. Take all your breath and feel you come awake. Say something, pray for something, say something, pray for something, say.
So do I start masturbating now, or
Matt, we're just playing a game right now.
if I play your game, will you let me win?
That's right. Most of that is parentheses inside of parentheses that then open up into new parentheses.
A real E.E. Cummings.
Really is. And all of their comments are responses to themselves that make even less sense. At first, I thought maybe some comments had been deleted, but after I read that through again in prepping for the show, I said, "No, this person is cuckoo."
So were they making their own lyrics to the song?
They were both changing the lyrics and interpreting the lyrics that they were changing at the exact same time.
Okay.
It's
only more confusing when you say it like that.
Matt, it's when people say it's a story that grew in the telling.
Oh,
yeah, that's what happened here. So thank you, HeelToeHole, for your work there. There's a music video for this song. It is shot with distortion to look like old video footage, because of course it is.
Yeah.
The shots of the band are minimal and quick cut. Chino at the mic, Sean Lopez on keyboards, mostly shots of a group of women in a small bedroom with buckets of water doing Ring Around the Rosie while dressed in old-fashioned white slips. The best shot of the video is the band all sitting on what looks like an old, uncomfortable couch, looking both bored and irritated, but also trying to look cool.
The hardest look of all.
The hardest look of all. Because they're like, bored. And then you can tell that somebody was like, I think this is the perfect couch. And I have a feeling that maybe they didn't do a butt test. They just did a looks test. Because let me tell you, you can look at a couch and go, looks like a good couch.
And you start sitting on that couch.
You sit in that couch and you're like, this was a mistake.
I'm slip sliding all over this son of a bitch.
Or
the pocket is so deep, I have to like sit on the edge of the couch in order to I'm either going to be here or I'm going to be like, my knees are going to be above my tummy. Oh, I hate that look.
Nothing worse than when you go over to somebody's house and they have a couch that you're unfamiliar with and you sit into it and suddenly you realize that it sucked you in and you might have to like get up to say something to somebody else. And now you're like fighting the couch and you're like, it's not your fault. It's the couch, it sucked you in. Mm-hmm. But your first impression that you're giving to this other person is, look at this guy being defeated by a goddamn couch. You're just like, I was just looking for a place to sit.
The worst thing too is if you wear shorts on a couch like that, and then it's just nothing but straight up to your 1996 whitey tighties.
Matt, I went over to a friend's
house. Whiteys, whichever you prefer.
Whatever you want to call it. I went over to a friend's house, and it was like we hadn't seen each other in a long time, and their mom took a picture of all of us sitting on the couch together, and I had shorts on. And it might be the worst photo ever taken in the history of the world.
I have one of those. I know exactly the shorts I was wearing. I know exactly the shirt I'm wearing.
Yeah.
I was like, I will burn this negative. I will erase this photo from history.
You see, it's a photo like that that makes you realize why, like, because I think there are a lot of times, especially nowadays, people are discounting a lot of the arts. Oh, I can do that. Anybody can grab a camera, whatever. And those
No,
type
you
of
can't.
photos really let you know, no, there's an art to taking a photo. There is a style. You know, there,
Mm-hmm.
that is learned, but also may be an innate talent. And sometimes it does not translate to every mother in the world, but that's okay. It's the thought that counts with those people. Now, if you are somebody who's decided to basically take their name and then put photography at the end of it and create an Instagram and say they're photographer now, I do want to call slight shenanigans on that because I've been seeing a lot of that over the last 10 years. And sometimes all I think you're doing is you take your best friend, you put him in a dumb hat, you put him in a room, and you turn 90% of the lights off. You take the picture and you go, magical in the captions. And I'm just going to say it. It's actually not a good photo because you can't see them. And what are you doing? What are we even looking at? I'm gonna put it out there right now. If you are taking photos and I can't see what's in the photo, what are we doing? What are we doing? I'm not saying you got to turn every light on in the room, but I got to be able to see something.
Unless you're taking boudoir photos and then, keep doing the Lord's work.
Maybe, but even then, show me something. I shouldn't. Here's the thing: if you're gonna do those type of photos, Matt, I should be going, I'm seeing a little cheek, not am I seeing a little cheek? Do you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Thank you, Matt. I've been sitting on this opinion for years.
Good for
Okay.
you. You
Thank
get
you.
it out.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've definitely listen. Have I subtweeted people in text to Jenny about this? 100%. But now I'm like, it's coming out. It's coming out. Also, look at the front cover of this album. Same shit. You can't see anything. Who's this lady? I have a physical copy of the album here, by the way. Picked it up from the Exchange in Indianapolis, Indiana, for a sweet $8. It is a digipack.
Nice.
And yeah, it was mostly
That just means it gets ruined faster.
Oh, I mean, it's all just worn. I don't know if you can see, just worn corners all over the place.
Hate it.
Yeah. Liner notes are mostly just lyrics. I don't think there's any pictures of the band. I don't think there's even any thank yous. They just got right to it. But I believe there is, because I know you love this, Matt. Stickers, so I can put a little
Crosses in your life.
crosses this picture of a woman in mostly shadow. I can't really see what's going on there. Once again, what are we doing? And also a Sumerian Records little promo telling me that I can check out new albums from Asking Alexandria, The Dillinger Escape Plan, and Dayshell. There you go. Yeah, there it is. All right, Matt. The next one, half the vowels are gone, but a few are still there. It's called The Holy Ghost. When I hear this one, when it gets basically kind of rocking, the most rocking that we've had on the album so far, my first thought is, would this have been better off as a Deftones song? But then my second thought is, was this taken to Deftones? And Steph Carpenter said, why don't you keep that one for yourself, buddy? My treat. And he went, son of a bitch, flat earth,
I will keep
motherfucker.
it for myself.
I will keep it for myself. Going back to my horny dungeon. You're not going to see me.
My horny dungeon.
I'm guessing here. Listen, this whole album, I mean, we're talking about in the second line of this song, Matt, is
I come inside.
I come inside you and haunt your dreams. We don't know. We often say, what are we doing here? We know exactly what we're doing here. We know exactly what we're doing here. Somebody made a comment about it earlier and they got downvoted. Some people don't like the truth, is all I'm going to say. So in this case, I just wondered, this is a song I feel at war with itself because when it's rocking, it feels more generic. It feels more like we've heard this before, but not, but better. And yeah, I'm just like, I don't know if this is, and I listened to it. I'm like, could this have been a chorus that could have been spruced up even better? I think it's the strongest part of the song. But already I feel like we're stitching together parts. And I know I said earlier that I'm a fan of a Frankenstein, but maybe not this Frankenstein. Just saying. I haven't got my torches out yet, but I'm just saying. Maybe not a fan. Because as we all know, Frankenstein once threw a girl into the lake.
It's true.
It's true. Now, not everyone agrees with me, Matt. I know this is going to be very shocking to you.
What?
Songmeanings.com, HCMOS, said this song is too short. It may be one of the best Chino songs ever made.
Okay.
Strong opinion. Strong. Grace V said, as it's something I've imagined before, when I realized that I may one day experience the loss of the love of my life if he will not lose me first or we leave the world together. I get it. I imagine wandering in the night among the places where my lover and I go to share bottles of wine in wilderness and in the dark beauty of cemeteries, only one day without him if he's ever taken from me by death. I'd long so badly to reconnect with him somehow and to experience in even the smallest of ways his presence once again, even if only inside of my own mind. My lover and I and a bottle of cold red wine. This song is about longing to be haunted by one's lost lover, which is fucking heartbreaking and totally romantic. Then they commented on their own and said, or one in the afterlife longing to be with their living love. Seems pretty mutual anyway.
So I take you back again to a 17-year-old Matt Noss in a Pizza Hut talking to a guy who's telling me that I can become a vampire if I just want it bad enough.
Matt, do you think this song is about someone yearning for a dead person or a dead person yearning for the person that they left behind?
I feel like, I mean, it could go either way, but it definitely has that, you can bring you ever see that real piece of shit movie Somewhere in Time with Christopher Reeve?
Not all of it.
It's not great. But it's like that kind of really saccharine love story where she comes to Christopher Reeve in, like, let's just say it's 1984. Christopher Reeves is a professor. An old woman comes up to him and is like, "Come back to me." And he's like, "Well, who are you? What does this mean?" And she disappears. And it turns out like she's in Mackinac Island.
Hottie
in
Central. Hottie Central, man.
in like 1915. And for this movie sucks. He records his voice going like, "It's 1915." It's 1915. And somehow that transported him back in time. That's this song. This is if you can be a vampire if you want it bad enough, you can bring your loved ones back if you need to have sex with them one more time. It's like, no, what are we doing?
I love that I've heard this movie evoked a lot because it was filmed at Mackinac Island, and as
Yes.
Michigander, it is brought up often. Did you know they
Often.
filmed the movie Somewhere in Time at Mackinac Island?
Yeah, I know.
This is the first time that I've heard this movie evoked negatively and also criticizing its time travel stylings, which Matt,
Of a tape recorder.
you say he just says 1915 into a tape recorder and he goes into the past. Matt Nas is like, you need either to be in a DeLorean,
right,
or you need to be Van Damme Time Cop, put in one of those things shot in, or you need to go.
Certainly saw Back to the Future before I ever saw this movie. This movie did come out before it, but like, well, I saw it after.
Zemeckis saw Somewhere in Time, and he was like, "This shit needs a car." Stat. That's what this movie needs. Needs a fucking car. I will say that this is when I started to feel like Chino is he's starting to tap the well a little bit. We're really kind of running through it, and it was also funny to look at on Wikipedia. They have all the songs listed, and they tell you which EP everything is from, and the way they sequenced it, Matt, you're gonna love this, is the tracks go EP1, EP2, EP3, EP1, EP2, EP3, EP1, EP2, all the way down. They just
keep rolling.
It doesn't even feel necessarily like they thought through the sequencing. They were just like, honestly, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
You know, we're going to get to a song shortly where you're going to be like, why is this song in the middle of the album? And I'll be like, listen, man.
EP1, EP2,
EP2, EP3.
EP3.
That's why.
This song needed another draft. This needed there's a lot of good stuff in this song, but boy, oh boy, it just needs to be tightened up. Chino's killing it. The lyrics, okay, but like one more pass, and I think we would have gotten there.
I think so. And, you know, it is shocking. I know a lot of people listening right now would be like, you guys are being pretty critical of work done by, you said resume master Chuck Doom. I'm like, listen, the name's incredible. I'm not saying that the work's nailing it, but the name, it's going to get you in the door every time. Listen, that's just one of those ones where it's be like, I'm not opening this door for anybody. And it'd be like, knock, knock, knock. It's Chuck Doom. I guess I'm opening the door. I'm opening the door.
Him, I will.
He's going to come in. He's going to raid my fridge. He's going to drink all my orange vitamin waters. And he's going to leave. And I'll go, what? Chuck Doom, why'd you do that to me? But boom, 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 knock again. It's me. I left my hat. I'll be like, well, I don't want Chuck Doom.
Come back in, Chuck.
Come back in. He's going to roll in. He's going to step his muddy feet all over my carpet while he tries to find his hat. And he's going to walk back. I'm like, why did I do that? Why did I do that? I could have just given him his hat. I could have just opened the door and handed it to him instead of let him come in with his muddy shoes. These are the problems that you have when you have a name as good as Chuck Doom. Matt, what do we got next?
Up next is Trophy.
Matt, when we were talking about, we're going to talk about playing games, we're sailing across the universe, I was like, it's one of those things where he's evoking these like lofty ideas. And my first thought is, this again? You know, he's done this. We just did an album 2 weeks ago on the show.
I have a feeling that's why they were like, can't we just do the EPs?
It's very strange. It is one of those things where I was like, this would honestly be a little bit more interesting if Chino was like, I'm going to make a record and I'm not going to be horny at all on it. Then we'd be interested. You know, like take another angle. Like almost I want to be like, what are Chino's opinions on like anything? You know, all I know about Chino is that he's horny.
Yep.
He's passionate.
Yep.
I think that's it. What else is there to know? You know, he used to be really into drugs, not so much anymore. Maybe. But yeah, mostly he's just passionate and horny. And so it's like, maybe give me more opinions. It's crazy to think, but it's like, imagine if Chino was like, I'm going to make my, you know, Surge System of a Down record. You know, I'm going to talk to you about way I feel about things, you know?
Then we would be complaining like, don't think, fuck, Chino. Like, that's what
You're right. Yeah, let's think and more fucking, please. And thank you. Please.
It's just an embarrassment of riches is what's happening.
It might be.
We're getting almost too much of a good thing here. Because honestly, any of these songs on their own so far, I would be fine with. I don't have anything that I'm like, I don't like this. I do like this. I do feel a little bit of like, hey, we've got Depeche Mode at home and we're putting on crosses, but like we're a little bit songs of faith and devotion there, where it's like, I think we lost the plot a little, but okay.
I also got a lot of Sade on this. And when you have that, when you're evoking Sade, like,
there's only one Sade,
There's only one. And so I listened to it and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like
the smoothest operator.
Yeah, I'm just like, listen, we've got Lovers Rock. All right. Like, it's good. Yeah, you're not. Chino's got the lane, and I appreciate it. I'm reminded of the time that DMX was like, I want to make a gospel album. And I'm like, DMX, I believe you love gospel in all your heart, but your songs should only be barking about shooting people in the chest. I'm sorry. That's why you're here, buddy. And thankfully, he never did that. He made songs about shooting people in the chest until the day he died. Rest in peace, DMX. Songmeanings.com, Luca Sambuca said,
good name.
A very good name. Said, I was listening to the song properly for the first time today on the bus. I drifted off into my own little world, and it had me reminiscing about this one person who played with my heart once. I looked up, and guess who was stood near the bus window? I almost had a heart attack. I just wanted to tell someone that story. May 23rd, 2012.
Wait a second. What?
Matt,
Did I miss who it was?
Matt, they were listening to this song
Okay.
and they had drifted into their own little world, i.e., they were thinking.
Mm,
Okay.
okay.
And they thought of a person who had played with their heart once. They were like, oh, I remember I was back with good old Jane. She played with my heart. Here I am on the bus. Well, here comes my stop. Who's that at the stop? It's Jane, the one who played with my heart. I gotta get to song meanings immediately and post about this. So they did.
Yep.
Then on June 19th, 2013, over a year later, Cartog1 said, cool story, bro. I mean, really, but only if it's true. A year
Classic
later,
Pixar. It didn't happen.
Listen, a year later, a got him's a got him. All right.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. All right. And so, yeah, I appreciated that. Listen, Luca Sambuca,
Look at the Buka.
Luca Sambuca, you got a great name. And so it doesn't matter if you got a got him on you. You're doing great. Matt, up next, we're 6 tracks in, which means it's the perfect time to have a song called The Epilogue. Matt, how you feeling about the epilogue?
I don't like it.
Ooh.
But I did like dancing though with you. That was fun. Here's my thing. This is hitting me very 90s sneaker pimps, hitting me very 90s Poe's Hello.
Hello, Poe.
Remember that album?
I do.
Yeah, I had it. And it's kind of like what it's really showing me is like keeping that intense, dark, sensual mood is very hard to do because usually these types of songs slip in and they don't have the same oomph, and instead of being able to go to rocking or ripping or riffing or whatever, crunching, chugging,
Things I love. I love all
things
the
that
things.
things that we all love.
Mhm.
You kind of end up with a song like this, which is fine. But this is not a song that you're going to be like, rewind, like the epilogue washed over me and left me dry.
Wow. For me on this song, I found the beat crisp. The chorus, let me see those hands. Put them in the air.
Absolutely.
I think
Can't
this
deny
chorus
that.
hits. We've got some gated drums, which is the first time that I was like, yes, gate those drums. Gate them. Get them gated. All right?
Gate 'em up.
Gate them up. Listen, anybody who's listened to any 80s songs by Phil Collins or
Mhm.
the ilk, Mike and the Mechanics, Peter Gabriel, all that stuff, the gated drum is the sound of the 80s.
Yep.
And if you're going to evoke that, then do it. Don't half step the drum gate. Gate them. And I want to stress something right now. They're like, wow, Lauren's really bringing up the gated drums. I don't know what that means, but I've read it in enough reviews that I know what it evokes. But what it means to actually have gated drums, I just say they sound like the drums on any Phil Collins song, like In the Air Tonight. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Gated. All right. What does it mean to gate a drum as opposed to some other type of drum? I don't know. They sound cooler in that aspect.
Do you want my nickel's worth of knowledge on this?
Tell me about gated drums, Matt.
Okay. When you have a gate, there's usually stuff above and below the gate.
Okay.
The gate cuts that off. So you just kind of get the center of it. So that's why it sounds so snappy. It's because it's cutting out a lot of the residual sounds that you get when you hit like a snare. Like if you hit a regular snare, it has like a kind of a rattle to it.
Mm-hmm.
That pop, it cuts that off. It cuts off the reverb and it just leaves the core sound. And then you put it on a gated with reverb and you get that snap, that hard snap, and then it like reverberates.
Thank you, Matt. They should have done more of that. That's where I'm at. They should have done more of that. There's a guitar solo on this song, 233. Um, I mean, this is one of those ones where as you listen to it, if you're not paying attention and you hear that chorus, it feels like very like goth romantic. Once again, let's go to goth prom.
Oh
I
yeah.
love, let's get your bangs, let's swoop them in your eyes, let's spike up your hair, Robert Smith style, corset it up, let's do it, eyeliner, all right? But when you get into the lyrics, seems much more, reminding us in the silence. Oh, here we go. I'll just read it. I look around through the town, not a soul to be found. In silence, not a sound. There's no one around but you. In the back of the car, on the way from the bar. In silence, here we are, reminding us how we're doomed. Because up to that doomed line, it seems like, girl, it's just you and me.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I see in this crowded room. I just feel like it's you and me, all
You and
alone.
me.
And then at the end of it, he's like, by the way, we're doomed. It's like, oh shit, this dude a fucking vampire? Oh shit.
Watch your neck.
Protect your neck. Could be in the car with a vampire. Songmeanings.com. We have a comment from Switzy, who said, this song makes me think that the singer is stalking a girl who he is obsessed with and thinks he's in love with. He watches her in the car and follows her as she drives from the bar and watches her sleep in the park. His doom is when he finally confronts her and breaks his perfect relationship. As is, he can concoct the perfect romance with her from far away, but he's afraid that it will be ruined when he finally approaches her. Now, I hear that and I'm like, okay, so this person has imagined a stalker scenario. Sounds a bit unsafe, sounds a bit creepy, but at the same time, also the admired here, the female character, is also sleeping in the park. So it sounds like she's also dealing with some housing issues. Then commenter blah blah love me said he should go get her then. What is he waiting for? And I was like, who is this? Somebody's mother? Like, go talk to the girl. What are you afraid of?
What are you being so nervous about?
What do you just gotta talk? You don't know until you talk to her. Go talk to her. Matthew, go talk to her. What are you waiting for? Huh? Why don't you go talk to that girl? What are you afraid of? Stop stalking her. Come out from behind that bush and say hello. She's sleeping on a
All
bench.
of our mother impersonations come from Everybody Loves Raymond.
That's the only mother. Yeah. Yeah. That's the only mother. Yeah. So there's also a comment from a commenter whose name is Andromeda, who says, I think they're dying. They're coming back late from a bar and they get into a car accident, but he's dying with her. The epilogue is the end of the story. Thank you so much for that.
There it is.
There is a music video for the epilogue. We have more analog video effects. VHS, analog, baby. Mitch Sosa, get in there, bro. All right. That's what we're doing. Okay. Then we have Chino and the band are in a car with rear projection. Chino is singing into a skinny mic. He's wearing sunglasses and a trench coat. He looks very cool. I just want to stress this enough. Chino in a trench coat and sunglasses at night might be the coolest person alive.
Wow.
Might be. There's repeated cuts to a blonde woman leaving a house in reverse and getting into a car with the band. Chino looks very cool. That's what I got out of it. Not yet. I mean, they're evoking a style, but I'm gonna say it. I'm not seeing a ton of substance. Now I could see the pushback. Lorin, this is an album about being horny, made for horny goths. What more do you need? And I'm going to say there are albums already in existence made by
horny goths.
For horny goths with a little bit more to it. Not just Depeche Mode. There's other bands. We're not naming them, though, because I can't think of them off the top of my head.
The Sisters of Mercy.
The Sisters of Mercy. Susie and the Banshees. The Cure.
The Cure.
The Cure. They have a song. They have an album called Pornography. What am I doing here? All right.
Just working too hard. Just working too hard.
We are working too hard. We are working too hard. So I would say that I definitely like this song a little bit more than you do, Matt. I think that chorus really cooks. But at the same time, I see exactly what we were talking about, though. Like it's, it comes up in the Pitchfork review where the reviewer basically says, Chino is embarrassing a lot on this album, but he's also an incredibly cool guy.
Yeah.
And so he can get away with it. He
Yeah.
can be embarrassing and still be very cool. Because that's the thing. You watch this video for the epilogue, and you're like, is this cool? And then you're like, Chino's pretty cool. Chino's pretty cool. He knows he can do it. He can do it. All right. Up next, we've got Bermuda Locket. Listen, when you're making an album, not an EP.
Not an EP.
Not an EP. Not a maxi single. An album. It's usually going to last between, on average, 40 minutes to an hour.
Sure. Yep.
That's something that you can sit down and listen to in one listen. But if you have built in songs that would function as a pee break, maybe just cut them out. Maybe just cut them out. Every time I got to this one, I was like,
I might have to use the bathroom.
Well, I don't have to go, but maybe I should just double check. I'm getting older. I should just go just to be on the safe side, you know? And I listened to this. I'm just like, what is this filler? What is this filler?
Yeah.
This is filler with a capital Phil.
We didn't need 15 songs.
Mm-mm. If anything, they could have taken those 3 EPs, which, if you're curious in the titles, they are EP1,
EP2,
and EP3 unreleased. And they could have just taken the best stuff. Yeah. Give us a solid 10, you know? Heck, evoke the boys you love, Depeche Mode. Give us a killer 9. There's only 9 songs on Violator. Look it up. It's a fact.
Perfect.
All right? Don't look at the deluxe versions on streaming. Streaming adds all these bonus tracks. We don't need them.
Unnecessary.
Get them out of here. Get them out of here. Just give me the core shit. Don't give me the bullshit. So with this, I was just like, we are, we're just floating in space here. And I wrote in my notes, I think the sensual Chino here is slightly broken. The tone is there, the delivery, but the lyrics are a little, wait, what? I wrote them down. So these are some of the lyrics I wrote down. I want to move you somewhere close to ecstasy. I might tell you things, some which you won't believe. I want to view the signals that control your brain. I need a taste. I need your everything. This guy needs to go on vacation because he's tapped out. All right. I don't know why, but I want to view the signals that control your brain. What are we talking about here, man? That's some Dr. Manhattan shit. All right. That dude lives on the moon. All right. He lives across time and space. You know what Dr. Manhattan is, Matt?
Yeah. From Watchmen.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, when you're saying stuff like that, you've kind of moved past any sort of sensual Chino thing. You're now into just like, you're like, I would like to examine your body on a deeper molecular level. You're not even a human being anymore. You know, you just kind of lost it. The plot feels lost here.
Yeah.
He's gone. He's so through the sensualness, you know, he's all nerve endings. Everything feels great. Nothing feels great. He needs a vacation.
He definitely does, because it this particular song, I would have cut. Doesn't feel necessary to the album. And again, it just feels like you're in a room with a bunch of guys that are just like, yeah, I can do that. You know what I mean? And it's just like, which is the thing about a side project. You know, he is in the room with Stephen Carpenter, who's like, yeah, I'm not going to do that, dude. That ain't happening.
I'm not.
Like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely.
No. Absolutely not.
So I was, this is where I was really like, man, and this is where on a headphone listen, I was just like, gotta get through this, you know. But listen, if you're eating a nice chicken dinner and this is playing, it doesn't bug you that much.
Delicious.
You know? Because you're chewing, you're looking around, you might be thinking about something else, but when you got the headphones on, you're like taking this on head on.
Locked in.
It's a little tough. Songmeanings.com though, Resident Maniac, hats off to the bull, is back.
Hats off to the bull.
They're once again delivering my interpretation. Reuniting with a long-lost love, all the tension and emotion that has built up over the years will be erased in one night of hot sex.
In one crazy night that I like to call a midnight jizz tale.
That's right. Gather around, friends. Get your ponchos for a late night just tale.
Squid squid.
Oh boy. You glad?
Oh boy. Oh, what is going on over here?
Oh, are we
But I mean,
telling you?
it's like it does have that thing where it's like, why is the coolest guy in the world being clumsy? Like,
Yeah. I don't need him to be fallible like that. You know,
just
I can see him. He can be, here's the thing, he can be fallible in interesting ways. But here, it's almost like a rich guy shit thing almost. Like, you know, like he's been so successful, you know, he
yeah,
doesn't have to work as hard at it. And now he's like, I want to know about your nerve endings. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, what are we doing here?
yeah,
No.
yeah. He can wallow in being lost
Mm,
and needing to gut one out with you.
yeah.
Like, but
I honestly listening to this album, and this is something I hadn't thought of, but you make a good point, Matt, is that there isn't enough yearning on this album. You know, we're already in
zero
the
desperation,
you're
right?
already in the room, you're all playing games, you know, everybody's leathered up and I don't know, things are wild,
He's
you
already
know.
come inside you.
He's already done exactly. It's like now let's take a step back. Take a step back. You've already been too deep,
Right.
bro.
And that really furthers your point of just like write about something deeper then.
Mm-hmm.
Like what then?
Right?
You know, it's like what do we do now?
Right?
But also Chino never strikes me as the relationship guy, which is like, yeah, then turn it on its side and return it to yearning or return it to how mystery it up a little bit here. How you're like, well, I'm lost, but we can have a time if you're interested.
You know what? Maybe what would be the challenge here? Because maybe that's the things that I don't feel necessarily challenged by Chino's decisions here. They still feel very much in the lane, and they don't surprise me. I think that's more than anything. I'm like, yeah, this seems about right for Chino. I'm not like, oh, I can't believe he did this. And so it's sort of like, what if Chino made an album of like, you know, breakfast songs, morning songs? You know, we're always getting the night. It's always 2 a.m. You know, you're in the back of a car, something like that. But let's do 8 a.m. at Denny's, grand slamming it up. You know, 7:30 a.m. at IHOP, dragging yourself in there. You know, let's get that angle. You know, where is he? What's that view? Is that regretful, or
Right.
did you find some new angle there? So that's what I'm saying. Get yourself, you know, some sausage and eggs, Chino, and see where that inspiration takes you.
Some distance. I do agree with the
Mhm,
yearning, the distance,
mhm.
the playful banter that we heard earlier has been replaced with nerve endings and weird connection. And it's like, um, what? Like
Mhm. Yeah, that's
it
the other thing is
it'll work because it's him, but it's like it's not working because he can do better, and we all know it.
right, and it's like I think it's another situation of like the bar is such that it's Chino saying, "Hey, I'd love to know more about the nerves that connect your spinal column to your brain," but it's like take that out, make it some other guy, and you're like, "Get this creep out
This
of here."
fucking psychopath
This
out of
guy's
here.
asking about my fucking nerve endings. This guy's gonna chop me up in a goddamn
This is a real Chris Carrabba conundrum.
It is. It is. It really is. Patreon.com/Roach Koach Podcast. Listen to the pact. Matt, I think we got to go to the next song. That's
We
what we
have
have to
to.
do. We have to. It's called Frontiers. Matt, you're gonna need to see some lighters, because you're gonna be getting a little sleepy here. This is one where I'm like, I wrote my notes. This chorus needs just you put it back on, you know, back in the lift. Let's put it back up in the shop. Let's get under the hood. This chorus still got some life in it, but it needs a tune-up. All right. You need to get in there, get them wrenches, get them musical wrenches. Give this chorus a tune-up, and you've got a winner. As it is, this thing is like lumbering, and I'm not saying it needs to gallop, but maybe it needs to move a little bit more, because you can't even. We were like bobbing our heads, but like literally like bobbing our heads, like our heads are like our spine doesn't work. Like it's not, you're not bobbing your head like, yeah, good beat. It's just too lumbery. And it's one of those things where I know, Crosses did a tour last year or earlier this year, touring their most recent album, and playing these shows, and I'm just like, I feel like you need chairs. I don't feel
Yeah.
like you should be standing at this type of show, especially if you're doing this. Looking at a set list, they play this song. This song gets played. They played an 18-song set, Matt. I'm looking at the set list from when they played the Fillmore in Detroit on Valentine's Day this year, 2024. They played this as the 8th song in the middle of the set. If you're wondering, the Epilogue was played 13th. So so people were definitely having to do something, bobbing along. I don't know. This is one of those songs where I'm like, you know what? If you were a person born without a skeleton, this would be your jam.
Yeah,
You
totally.
You just
Right into the floor.
Absolutely. This is the song though where I, at a certain point, have to go, man, how hot are all these women that he is singing about? Or is this all the same woman? Because he's losing his GD mind. I'm just asking. I don't know if there's an answer to that question.
I don't think there is.
Yeah. Songmeanings.com. Matt, guess who's back?
Oh, hats off, Bull.
Hats off to the Bull. That's right. They've got another interpretation.
Ooh, I'm excited.
It's about running away with the one you love and leaving the world behind, making the decision to just live for each other. And that was posted on June 13th, 2012. Grace V, who you remember from earlier, came in May 19th, 2014, says, totally. Just like the majority of tunes sung by Chino Moreno these days, love and escape, which is nice. Is it just nice?
It's nice.
It's nice. We're loving and escaping, which is nice. Who is this? Is this a mother? It's like that thing. I remember one time hanging out at my buddy's house, and we're watching. I think we're watching like the Clockwork Orange or something. Something just fucked. And somebody's mom was just like,
"I just more fucked in that movie, bro."
Oh yeah. And then I remember somebody's mom being like, "I just think it's nice that all the boys are hanging out together. They're just having a nice time." And yeah, that's
Raymond, where are you?
Yeah, exactly. Where are you, boy? I hope you're having a nice night. Watching the Clockwork Orange. Matt, let's keep it going.
I cannot believe how many songs are left.
Matt, that's the thing. Here's the thing. You've got EP1, okay? Then there's EP2.
Yeah, it's true.
And
that leads me to believe that there will be an EP3.
EP3, they merged into
unreleased.
It. You put all 3 EPs together. That gives you all of these songs, because they refuse to cut anything, including the song 1994.
This song sucks. Okay, not good.
This is when I really felt that the lyric well had been tapped. The first line in the song, when the sun goes down. Oh yeah, the sun.
Do you want to take another stab at that?
Whoa! The sun. This is the first I'm hearing. The sun.
Wait,
is going down.
This our sun.
Hold on. This sun, the one that circles the earth. I'm sorry, I'm being told that we circle the sun. Okay, we circle the sun. Either way,
even better.
It's going down.
It's going down.
Unbelievable. I've got to send some text right now. I just got.
All right. Well, I'll see you in a half an hour.
All right. Thank you, Matt. Yeah, we're tapped out. We're tapped out here. This is another one.
Yeah. Cut it.
Listen, once again, it's so weird to be like, we're going to evoke Depeche Mode, who dropped a classic with 9 songs, but we're going to lard this thing up. 15, baby. 15. You could have cut this so easily. so easily.
Oh my god,
Oh
just
my
like
gosh. Matt, do we gotta get a time machine? You know what though? No, I'm gonna take it back. This isn't a time machine album because there's too many other notes. Because it's not just that there's, you know, some filler. There's other problems. I think us walking in and being like, hey, you gotta cut this song and also recontextualize the entire project. They don't want that. That's not what you go back in time for. No, 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 no.
dude,
You go back in time for decisive decisions. Like
big
you
time.
do this,
I
and then you
don't
get back.
think I don't think being in the room is gonna help this one.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like this ship has sailed.
Because Matt, I was about to take my tape recorder and whisper 2012 into it and see if it takes me back there.
Yeah.
Is that work?
When you
Does that
look
work?
up the method of time travel,
Mhm.
the words sure will are used to describe it. Christopher Reeves uses his pure will to will himself back in time.
It's infuriating. I don't like that at all. Listen, and this is funny because he had already reversed time as Superman
That's
by
correct.
flying around the world and rewinding the world.
Yes.
That was
correct.
effort. And what's
Yeah.
interesting though, I will say it though, is that Somewhere in Time, talked about by parents all over Michigan because it was
Mhm.
filmed at Belle Isle, but it does not have the stock.
Mackinac Island.
Mackinac
Thank you
Island,
very much.
sorry. Mackinac, not a Belle
That'd be
Isle.
a really weird Belle Isle movie, though.
That'd be wild. That'd be nuts.
So regional, but
Yeah.
so funny for anybody from the
Yeah.
region.
But yeah, you know, the effort of time travel in the 80s and the late 70s, you know, Superman flying around the earth, the DeLorean, you got to go 88 miles an hour, you got to get electricity from the clock tower. Star Trek 4, you know, they had to that was when they had to slingshot themselves, right? To get the whales,
Oh
I
yeah,
think.
it was.
Something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. There was some effort there. They had to do some science. Yeah, I have, like I said, bits and pieces, but yeah, the idea that he was just sort of like, I'd like to go back in time, please. And they were like, and time was like, sure. Head on back, bro.
Yep, it sure was. Hey man,
All right.
I mean, seriously, it was for Jane Seymour, so you would just convince yourself of anything.
1980s Jane Seymour. I get it.
I'd
I
like to
get
see
it.
more. You know what I
Hey
mean?
now.
Hey now.
Oh, now. Up next, we've got Option. I'm just gonna ask the question. Do you want to be M83 or do you want to be Deftones? Which
Yeah.
one do you want to be? Once again, we're stitched together here. And you know, this is post the big M83 record. So you don't really want to evoke Midnight City, okay? Like it's kind of an all-timer. I don't know if you've heard it. You've bought pants before, I'm sure you've heard it. But I gotta say, like, yeah, this one was once again. I'm like, I'm hearing two different songs, and you know, the boys got in the room together. And they're like, we're gonna put these together. I'm here with Chuck Doom. I can do anything. I can do anything. His name is Chuck Doom. And once again, I'm like, I like parts. I think this chorus soaring. Take me to the sky. Let's go. Let's swoop around. You know, give
Yeah,
me
I was
wings.
very surprised by a nearly praise and worship chorus, like a big swelling major lift of a
Hmm.
chorus.
Major. Yeah. And so when you hear that once again, you're like, can we get this in a Deftone song? Or do something more with verses that make sense? Because these chugga chugga verses, they sound like a different song. You don't think
Big
that?
time.
Yeah. And I could see the argument being like, well, that's what makes the chorus hit more. But I don't know. It feels less like a whoa and more like that's jarring. I just hit
Yeah.
a bump in the road. Oh, okay. You know, I'm glad to hear it, but the transition's still weird. I will say that on Songmeanings.com, people disagree. Infinite Luna C, see what they did there, said this song is so beautiful, heart emoji. Genesis fan said, I
They're
agree.
back.
They're back. And they said, I agree. It sounds like a song written for that someone you want to marry, Chino, the man with many hats. Listen, I'm going to point something out. Chino is a man of many things. All right. He's a man of passion. He's sensual Chino. He's screaming Chino. but Chino is not a hat guy.
No way.
No way. Chino would never wear any of those dumb hats Linkin Park wore during the One More Light era. He would
No, I don't
never.
see that. No.
He would never. He might do a trucker. I could see
do a
back in the
beanie.
he could do a beanie, but that's as far. Any sort of large circular brim?
No way.
Never. No way. No way. He would never let that happen to himself. And if you send me a picture of Chino in a wide brim hat, I will block you. Okay, Matt, I really got off track there.
That's okay. I'm going to take us down another road here because I feel like just looking at the track listing for Violator here by Depeche Mode.
Yeah.
Nine songs. And the thing that keeps coming back to me is that through all of this, there isn't a clear mission statement of like in the songs of like who this person is. Chino themselves. Even horny is what we have at best. Missing the idea of you is the most abstract I could get. But like track 1, song 1, Violator, World in My Eyes. Fantastic song, but like that idea, if applied to this album, would imply give it a lot of clarity, you know, like like, hey, this is how I see things. Let me let you in to me is that thing that I'm missing in all of this, you know, because like a lot of these songs on Violator are about how I see myself, how I see the world, and therefore how I see you. And it's like, so by the time that you get to Halo, you're like, we know who this guy is. I know who these people are. And then, of course, you have some of the best synth pop songwriting of all time.
You're not even to Enjoy the Silence yet.
Yeah.
You know?
Or Blue Dress, which is, or Clean, or Policy of Truth, or Waiting for the Night. Oh, God.
Listen, Depeche Mode Violator is one of the best albums ever made. It's one of the best albums ever made. I'm sorry.
You know what? That might become my new perfect album because they didn't screw it up. They just did 9 songs.
They did.
If there was a 10th song on Violator, I think it would not be good.
Well, here's the thing. So there's a deluxe. They if you listen to it on the streaming, they throw a bunch of extra shit on the end, and they throw some B-sides on there, and they're not bad. But I'm like, I'm glad these weren't on there. This shouldn't necessarily be here. You can get this out of here. So,
yeah. But I feel like in the songwriting for Chino, that's what's missing. Like he's not letting us in to his world. He's doing a lot of external how I'm seeing you, or I might be feeling horny or wanting to be inside of you, but there isn't a lot. It's very surface level. Everything's kind of like base feeling.
And when he does get under the surface, he's just interested in what's going on with your nervous system, you know,
which I can't help you with.
Yeah, truly. Matt, let's get back into the years and let's talk about 1987.
All right.
We are just existing on vibes at this point, Matt. We are just existing on vibes.
On ColecoVision, attack sounds, and Atari 2600 synth waves.
This is, this was one where every time I was like, I didn't even remember the song existing. This is once again, this is filler with a capital Phil. You could, once again, you get this out of here. I don't need this. No one, listen, it would be gone and no one would miss it.
How the fuck do we have 4 songs left?
Because, Matt, there are 3 EPs involved here. They are called
Next
EP1,
up is Black
EP2, EP3. So here's a song that doesn't appear to be about being horny. It seems to be about how you get famous and it fucks with your head a little bit or a lot of bit, and it's tough to handle. Okay. And we don't get any more.
Nope.
We broach the topic and you're like, oh yeah, you want to expand on that? And she was like, no
thanks.
No, not interested. Nope. I'm gonna see myself out. I'm yeah, I'm gonna strip down to my leather underpants and
And
yeah, do what I do.
I'll be in this pile of beautiful women on this uncomfortable couch.
That's right. This couch did not do a butt test on it.
No
Hurts
butt
like,
test.
no butt test. Hurts like heck to sit on.
I hate this couch.
Hate this couch. Should have read the
Great
reviews
looking
online.
couch, though. You gotta admit it looks great.
The way it fits the room is ideal,
Perfect.
but you can't watch a movie in it.
It's
And
the Lebowski of couches.
you've
It
got
really
to
pulls
you
the
got to
weight.
bring a cushion, and then it's a little bit comfier. You
Ooh,
know.
yeah, put a donut on this thing.
I mean, I will be honest with you guys. I bought my couch in my apartment at the beginning of COVID, and I bought it online, visual only, based off reviews. I'm going to tell you guys that I have had to curtail myself to this couch. And I've added some pillows to it to make it a little bit more comfortable. But it is a situation where if I had sat in this couch in a showroom, I would not have purchased
Never.
this couch. But now it's my couch. We're making it work, baby.
You want to
We're
put
making-
the manufacturer on blast? Is it?
You know what, Matt? I have food blindness and I also have product blindness. So I do not remember where I bought this couch.
Oh, it's just
Yeah.
whatever that bird one is.
I don't know. I want to say West Elm. That could be right. That could be wrong. I don't know.
Okay.
As I've said, I don't have strong memory for that. And I also have, I don't think I've ever talked about this show that my food blindness. Have I ever talked about this, Matt?
No.
I don't remember anything I've eaten. Like anytime I go to a restaurant, if I go with someone, I'm like, what do I like here? Because I don't remember. Like I know the things I like I like shrimp and I like mushrooms and things like that. But in general, I don't remember the thing. If you asked me what I had for dinner like 2 nights ago, I don't remember. I don't retain that information. I'm getting mail ordered food I've been having for lunch lately. It's like more healthy stuff. It's called Factor Meals.
Yes.
And then they send me an email. They're like, rate your meal. Tell us what you think. Guys, it's like a quiz I didn't study for. I go in and it's like, what'd you think of the cavatappi with the pork? And I'm like, did I have this? Are you sure? The pictures don't match what it looks like. I'm guessing. I'm like 3 stars, I guess. I don't know. Every week, I don't know. It's just a thing. And let me tell you, it does make some people crazy when you sit down and you go, what do I like here? They hate that. They don't like it.
Oh, yeah.
They don't like it. They will get mad at you. And just how I live. So I go in and I just look for key things. I look for shrimp. I look for mushrooms. Those are the things I'm like, okay, that we'll be doing all right with that. Seeing a little bit more about me. A little bit less about Black Stallion, which ultimately felt undercooked.
Up next,
Cross. So Matt, this is an instrumental track.
like the vibe.
Like the vibe, but once again, it's this thing you just ramped us up with Black Stallion, brought the tempo up, and you're like, after one up tempo track, it's time to slow it back down.
Gotta slow it back down.
You gotta slow it back down with a little bit of, and this is one where I can see from our angle, hey, this is filler. We're from the future. We're coming back. We're A&R in your album. Cut this shit out. But the song is literally the cross symbol. They're called crosses.
Right.
I feel like it has to be there. It's a necessary evil of sorts. So I get it, but it is a little boring. It's a little boring. All right, so we only have 14 songs left.
Well, we do have 2 songs left, which makes me ask how respectful of our time is the album.
Matt, this album clocks in at a sweet. Actually, I'll give you the exact time. I was going to go off of Apple Music, but I will go to the Wikipedia, which tells you it is 56 minutes and 15 seconds.
That's, if it's a wonderful, great album, that's a long time. This is lacking that. This is indulgent.
This is 10 to 15 minutes too long.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
You could say you could cut, just hear me out here. You could cut an EP's worth of songs off of this. And from what I understand, this album is constructed of not one,
EPs.
not 2, but 3 EPs. You could cut one whole EP out of this. But then I could see the thought process being, well, if we cut one out, then people will be like, well, we already bought the other 2. You just combine them together. you need to add the third one to make it worth my hot earned money.
Hot
Hot
earned.
Hot earned money. Common saying. Everyone says it.
Everybody says
Every
it.
Friday, you say, "Oh, let me check my bank account for my hot earned money.
Hot-earned money.
Gotta get my hot earned money, baby." That's right. Direct deposit is hot.
Hot. Here it comes. Open
It's
the
hot.
tap. We got some hot-earned money.
Listen, if you go in a bank on a Friday, the heat is on. All right. Don't wear
True.
a jacket into the bank. You will be sweating. Okay. Because it's cranked in there because they got everybody's hot earned money. Beautiful. Up next, we have a song called Purient. You faded it right when Chino was talking about razors and hooks. Once again, we're getting like B versions. We're getting the rough drafts of stuff that you'd hear in a Deftones song. I feel like you already talked about that. I think that was something on Diamond Eyes, Guns and Razors and things like that. This really, we are so in the weeds at this point, and I wrote in my notes that you have these synths in your drum machines that are hinting at 80s sounds, but it's like they don't want to actually just do the sounds.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's almost there. It's like there's a setting there that would be straight up. I mean, I could see the argument they don't want to be like just nostalgia bait. They don't want to just be some sort of like throwback sounding band, but like
then what are you doing?
But that's the thing I don't understand is that the sounds you're making are then feel like the minor chord version of that. It's not as interesting.
It's
like
not,
just give me the sound.
yeah.
Just give me the sound. You want to make it, I
Get
want to
a
hear it.
Yamaha DX7. Just go get a Yamaha DX7. It's what you want to do. You just want to play one of the most recognizable keyboards from the 80s. You want to make that song that plays at the beginning of Drive. Everybody does. Like,
We all do.
It's cool.
We all wish we could do that song. There's only one Kavinsky, but we wish we could all be him. Okay. And he's the one guy who is actually a ghost, and I'm fine with it. Okay. Just going to say that right now. He's the one ghost I agree with is Kavinsky. But yeah, if you're not going to do it, then why bother? What are we doing here?
Why fucking bother?
Why bother?
Let's take it home, or you got a good
I have one on Song Meanings. It's from Resident Maniac, Hats Off to the Bull.
Is it his interpretation or their interpretation?
The setting that is my interpretation.
Ooh, I like that.
He's trying to convince somebody who's caught up in a life of greed to take a step back and take a look at their life, saying there's more to life than being a rat chasing the cheese. So kill the ego and just let go. You know what? Sure, dude. I don't know.
Whatever.
Whatever, man. Okay. I mean,
didn't read.
Yeah,
congratulations, and sorry to hear
rat
about
chasing.
it.
I don't know, rat chasing the cheese, greed. I was like, are we evoking Wall Street? Are we evoking the greed is good 80s and saying pushing back on that? That's a very charitable read of this song that I just largely thought was kind of boring, but that's okay. Matt, we're on the last song of the album.
We made it.
This is an album. I don't know if you knew this, Matt. I wanted to mention this real quick. Is made up of 3 EPs.
EP1?
Uh-huh.
EP2?
That's correct.
And EP3 unreleased.
That is correct, Matt. Yeah. So this song here, according to Wikipedia, was from EP3.
All right.
And it's called Death Bell.
All right, we get it. Holy shit.
I love that on the final song, he's like, all right, give me that weird vocal effects, Sean. Vocal effects me up. And he's saying, I climbed inside your golden gates. Chino is always climbing into stuff. He's always creeping in, climbing in. I mean, his upper body strength has to be incredible. You know,
Totally.
He's just climbing into stuff all the time. You got to wonder if, Mama Marino used to have to say to him, get down from there. Get out of there. I wonder if he was that type of kid. I don't know. If Mama Marino's listening, write in, let us know. This seems to be a death song based on the lyrics. There were no comments on song meanings. I'll follow you into the light. I mean, I guess, sure. Once again, well-trodden territory. putting a sort of weird sloggy song as your final song ends this album on a shrug. But then I think
Yeah.
of the album as a whole. Well, I don't want to get ahead of myself. So yeah, I was not a fan of this one, Matt. How do you feel?
I wasn't honestly, I wasn't against it at first. I was like, okay, I'm ready to do what needs to be done here. I feel like they're trying to give me like that little palate cleanser, and then it just sounded like he was in a bucket at the bottom of a well. And I'm
Mm,
like, I know you've lost you can't play that card now.
mm-mm.
Uh it's over. It's over. Go home,
But it
Chino.
listen, also Matt, this is another variation of what I call once again, I have been making an album. I have been working in state of the art studios using only the finest microphones around.
Mhm.
But for the last song, what if we record my vocals and they sound shitty and weird? Is that an option? Just putting it out there. What if it sounds like like I'm in a well and you are waiting on emergency personnel to pull me out of there? And you're like, you all right down there, Chino? And he's like, ah, I'll follow you in the light. No, don't go towards the light. Go towards up. We're gonna put a ladder down. We're gonna pull you out of there, buddy. So I mean, in that way, it does fit in a long history of badly recorded final songs. So in that lineage, you got another one. Notch it. They did it again. That does bring us to the end of this album,
It
Crosses
does,
by
it does.
Crosses. And since this is side project summer, Matt,
We gotta talk about
ego or
or essential.
that's right. Matt, I want to start with you.
You can start with me, and I'm going to say that this is ego. You have all the trappings to make it essential, but you're doing too much of the stuff that you want to do, that it gets in its own way too much. It isn't as introspective or as down on itself as it needs to be. Um, Everything that's sexual is so surface level sexual. I'm surprised that there's not a like a I mean, he says your legs are on the stage at one point, which is just like, oh boy, okay, like he's a lot better than this. It feels very first draft. It seems like something that they did for fun that started to take off, and now it's like, now do it for real. And it's like, I don't know, fucking. So if that's what happened, then it's still not essential, and it's still a little bit of an ego to like, I can get my friends together and we can do the stuff I can't do in Deftones. So fuck it, we're good.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. This definitely is an ego situation. I mean, knowing this is a collection of 3 EPs, I don't know if we mentioned that, but it's a
It
collection of
is,
3
yeah.
EPs.
1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, 3.
3
It
unreleased.
yeah, it really makes sense that it doesn't really flow. And it's one of those things where I can see the intent, but I don't believe they achieve it.
No.
And it's sometimes I wrote that it feels I don't know, it feels like fan fiction. It feels like somebody said, like, it'd be really cool. Like it feels like something that somebody would imagine up. Wouldn't it be cool if Chino just did a bunch of chilled out goth and not even goth industrial, just goth synth tracks? I think that'd be great for Chino.
Yeah.
And he's like, and then he did it for real, and it was like, should have stayed a dream, perhaps. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
It like wants to honor source material that it leaves major components out whole cloth. It's
Mhm.
like Division, another crazy German synth pop band like that you could reference forever that did this, you know, go to Depeche Mode, go to and well, there's so Wolfsheim, go anywhere, keep going, but also go to Massive Attack's Mezzanine. Why isn't there any female vocals on this that would help add a counterpoint to you? Like there's
Mhm.
so many things that are just kind of left on the table. And it's like, no, I got this. Put that I'm in a well sound effect on. It's
Yeah,
great.
absolutely. Matt, when honestly, I had not thought of Massive Attack Mezzanine, and when you said that, it kind of nuclear bombed this album in my head. It was kind of like, oh, well, it sounds still pretty good. And you're like, Massive Attack Mezzanine exists, Lord. I'm like, yeah,
And you
that's
know
true.
what? You're looking fondly on that album. It's 62 minutes.
I don't mind it. That's fine.
Don't mind it all.
Guys, if you haven't heard Massive Attack Mezzanine, it just happens to be one of the greatest of all time. I mean, that was a 3-album run by Massive Attack, by the way. Blue Lines Protection, Mezzanine.
Yeah.
Some of your favorite bands wish. They wish.
Wish.
So I would say this is also an ego situation. And better luck next time.
There's nothing wrong with that, but yeah, it's definitely not essential.
Listen, not even close. This was a fine album to listen to. Was not mad about it, but our guy has quite the resume, and you're gonna stack it up, and it's not necessarily gonna to hold court. But I'm really glad to hear about Chuck Doom, who might be a top 5 best named person of all time. All time great name. And I'm sorry that he's not friends with Chino anymore, but that's life sometimes. That's a lesson. And believe it or not, that does bring us to the end of another episode of Roach Koach. Matt, we did it. You and me, buddy.
Yeah, 8 years strong.
8 years strong. Of course, love to Jenny. Love to all of our guests that we've had over the years. More guests to come. More fun to come on the show. 8 more years. Let's do it. Make it an even 16, baby. So thank you everyone for listening.
800 episodes of Roach Koach.
That's right. Let's do it, Matt. So thank you everyone who's been listening over the years, writing us, giving us suggestions, coming on as guests. Of course, Jennifer Socio, we wouldn't be able to do the show without you.
Absolutely.
You laid the groundwork, and you'll be back sometime again soon. We DM all the time. And keep on saying hello to us. Say hello to us online: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. We're on all those. Send us an email: roachkoachpodcast@gmail.com. Join the Patreon, patreon.com/roachkoachpodcast. And until next time, Matt, thank you.
Lorin, thank you.
Roach Riders and Indigo Angels. Thank you. All right. Bye.
Roach Koach
Podcast.
hot all day, every day. It's the Roach Koach
Podcast.
all day, every day.